or not it's deliberate.
And what's the
consequence?
Well, there was just a video of a plane. I forget where it was taking off, somewhere in like Malaysia or something like that, where they said that as the plane was taking off, it accidentally activated the chemtrail thing on the ground rather than up in the sky.
Oh,
and both engines underneath it.
I'm
just
coming
start
in, people.
pumping
Hold
out
on 1
this
second.
white fog all over the runway.
That's condensation.
Yeah, and of course they were
that's
saying,
condensation in Malaysia.
Like the fire suppression thing got activated and it just sprayed a bunch of like. Okay, but that's not.
Oh, you hear my
good
dog in the
explanation.
background. That's great.
I don't believe
planes shouldn't
Now-
do that. Why is there a feature on the plane that can do that?
This is the unusual suspects,
makes
people.
sense.
Yeah.
What makes me suspect, I have a friend becoming a
I'll
pilot
give everyone
right
the link
now
for this.
over at the airport over here that's like 10 minutes away, which he told me, by the way, 9/11 terrorist train
I was gonna make that joke, but I didn't know if it was
It was right down the street. It's crazy. His uncle also sold him a truck. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. So look, in pilot school, they're teaching him it's just condensation. It's just because they're up high and it's the air. That's what takes place. But you look up at all the planes, they're not all doing it.
The idea to write off that there would be chemicals in the trail is itself pretty stupid. But what was the connection that Prince had to chemtrails? And people, am I misremembering history where there was a theory that Prince died or was dieted after exposed the chemtrail
All right,
conspiracy?
that's enough for people. I got it.
Or I just actually just make
April.
So that is me, everybody, in real time, not in real time, on The Unusual Suspects. All right, people, sorry, this was a very, very short notice stream. I'll tell you everything in a bit. Once I get everything going here, got to make sure that we are live across all of the interplanes of the superwebs. Let's go make sure that we're live on Rumble. So that was me on The Unusual Suspects, and that show is just ending right now. So I was waiting for that to be virtually over before going live to make sure that we are currently live, which we are. Here is the link to Unusual Suspects. I didn't put the link here. Bada bing, bada boom. We're live on Rumble. We are live on YouTube as best I can tell. And I think we're going to be live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Let's make sure that we're live there. And then we're going to get into it, people, because holy hell, couldn't not go live for one day. Like 3 massive stories that need to be discussed. And we're live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Let me make sure that we're on the good mic because we're using Rumble Studio. Nice UMC mic. We're live, people. Good evening. How goes the battle? I went fishing. It might have been biting off more than you can chew, pun intended. I went fishing with 6 kids, 2 of my own and then 4 neighbor kids. And we were at the Loxahatchee place where we go fishing. And a lady who's a mother of another kid on the pier came out and thought it was a fishing camp. And she's like, oh, are you doing a fishing camp? And I guess I am. But 6 people with hooks flying everywhere and alligators. There was a beast of an alligator at the place just waiting. It snagged somebody's fish while they were hauling in a big, I think it was a peacock. I lowered my GoPro into the water to get a view, and it put the GoPro in its mouth for an extended period of time, and I had to sit there waiting patiently for it to release it. It was a beast of an alligator. Like, it's the biggest one that I've ever seen at the Loxahatchee. I didn't get a picture on my phone because I no longer take pictures on my phone. I've got the GoPro somewhere. And what happened today? Did The Unusual Suspects, did a bit of a Joe Rogan vlog, but we're going to talk about it. And we need to go live because it's... what the hell is going on? Like, this is strategic. Everyone's like, hey, Team MAGA should pick a fight with Joe Rogan. That is great strategy. I think nothing's going to come of it at the end of the day. People are going to, have their fun with it now, especially the left. Oh, now MAGA's falling out with Rogan, and look at that. We're sowing discord. I don't think this is going to lead anywhere serious, and people will make amends. But pretty stupid stuff, but we're going to get into it. Let me see here. Bearded Viva greater than shaven Viva. You're right. Look at this. First of all, I'm making fun of Rosie O'Donnell. Let me make fun of Rosie O'Donnell only to make fun of myself afterwards. You know, when you were a kid, your parents always told you, like, if you keep making that face, it's going to stay that way. Look at this. Like, look at that. Like, the thing is this, I'm almost reluctant to make the jokes I want to make about this because she might have a medical condition that results in her face looking like that. I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I want to, they call it the RBF, the resting bitch face, but, and it's not just a woman thing. Men can have resting bitch face as well. She has spent so much time in her life scowling and sneering and frowning and bitching and moaning and being a sad, sour human. She literally looks like she's been sucking on a melon. Hold on, let me take the tip out of here. Like, so I'm very conscious of this, and someone, reminded me of a great George Orwell expression: by the age of 50, everybody has the face that they deserve. And I'm conscious of that because I don't want to look like this scowling, angry person when I'm 50. Let me just play this so we can all hear the mentally unhinged Rosie O'Donnell. But look at that face. She's got scarred by her scowls of anger and unhappiness.
Are you watching this moron speak?
She's talking about Trump's presser yesterday.
Can he form?
Although that's quite funny. Are you watching this moron speak? Yep, I'm watching a moron speak right now, Rosie.
Are you watching this moron speak? Can he form a coherent sentence?
He did.
He is the worst thing that ever happened. Period. And he's just babbling like an incoherent asshole. He's like Dr. Doom.
What the hell is going on in the background there, Rosie? He's the worst thing. Someone's
Oh, you know what? He just lies. I am done with Donald Trump.
Ah!
Let's be done with Donald, okay?
Done
with Donald.
Sorry. Done with Donald. Look at that sad, pitiful face.
Are you watching this moron speak?
So let's be done with Donald. She's been bitching about Donald for the last decade, nearly. And it ran. First of all, I watched that press conference. We talked about it today during the Unusual Suspects. I think Trump rambles specifically because he knows that people are going to accuse him of rambling. All that to say, bring it back to the clean-shaven. Look at this. I think I'm getting some of these scowls here. I got the scowl wrinkle there. And it really comes out when you shave the beard. Very angry. But yeah, it is a very frustrating, overwhelming world in which we live and are currently living through. And it really feels like it's all burning all at once. And it's a little bit, sometimes it feels like a little bit much to deal with because you can't escape it. And even when you try to escape it and you go fishing on Loxahatchee and then you say, if a nuclear bomb went off in the Atlantic, what would the tsunami washing over the Florida Panhandle look like? What would it feel like to see that wall of water come in? What would be your thoughts at the very last second when you say, holy crap, they actually did it. They actually destroyed the world in which we live. Oh, okay. Before we get started in all of this, first thing, can you share the link around? Because I gave about 5 minutes heads up, and I don't even think I specified a time at which I was going to be starting this. Share the link on the social medias so we can have a nice lively crowd for a Friday afternoon stream. And also, before we get into talking about how the government's going to ruin it all, people, the government will successfully destroy the world in which we live. And they do this all the time, by the way. Anybody who's ever had to pay taxes, Tax Network USA is our sponsor of the evening. And the government is not your friend, people. In fact, they are your unwilling business partner in everything that you do. They take a little off the top. They take a little when you buy something. They take a little when you die. And they take your taxes and then they ship them to the Ukraine so they can siphon off their 10% and then siphon it off to the military industrial complex and then just abandon the weapons. Just abandon the weapons in a foreign country. Your tax dollars hard at work, and they need your tax dollars, and they come and get your tax dollars, and they come and get your back taxes. Pandemic relief is over. Along with hiring thousands of new agents and field officers, the IRS has kicked off 2024 by sending over 5 million pay-up letters to those who have unfiled tax returns or balances owed, because that war in Ukraine doesn't pay for itself, people. Don't waive your rights and speak with them on your own. They are not your friends. Tax Network USA, a trusted tax relief firm, has saved over $1 billion in back taxes for their clients, and they can help you secure the best deal possible. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, they can help you. Whether it's business business or personal taxes, even if you have the means to pay or you are on a fixed income. They can help you finally resolve your tax burdens once and for all. Call 1-800-245-6000 for a free private consultation or visit tnusa.com/Viva. Tango, November, United States of America.com/Viva. 1-800-245-6000. tnusa.com/Viva. Link is in the description. What do we start with? You want to start with the world? Well, we'll save the Joe Rogan one for a bit because what the bloody hell? Like it's stupid. It's stupid. No, we're doing Joe Rogan right now. You don't pick fights with people you are trying to convince. You don't burn bridges just for the sake of it. You know, it's like, oh, I was going to make a crass baby making analogy, but I won't. We've talked about this before. This is like week over week. When was the Kyle Rittenhouse drama? Was it last week already or only? Feels like a year ago. Hold on. Come on, Viva. Showing Rosie on your show gives her a larger audience than her 12 followers. She's sitting there talking about her therapy. Let's get over Donald. By the way, check this out. I've got a glass that someone sent me with Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got no beard. Geez, seeing all the people respond no beard, I forgot that All right, so let's talk about it. Here we go. Viva. Joe Rogan was singing praises of RFK Jr. So I put out a tiny vlog before I go live with, or not live, before I went with the Unusual Suspects today. And the accusation, the drama of the day. First of all, last week, it was Kyle Rittenhouse not personally posting a video. Somebody else posted a video of him saying, Trump bad on Second Amendment. I am writing in Ron Paul. I'm in Texas. I forget who the guy who posted the video of Kyle Rittenhouse. He posts that video, says, that's it. Trump is not good on the Second Amendment. A lot of people have said that. They didn't go quite so far as to say, now I'm writing in Ron Paul. And then I don't want to call it MAGA world. And I'm not naming names because I'm not interested in fighting with people who, even if I disagree with them, there's no need having these fights publicly. You shouldn't. This is why I am not equating these relationships to marriage. But you don't, anybody who's been married, or I should say successfully married, you don't fight with your wife in public or your husband or your spouse. You don't fight with your partner in public because whether you like it or not, and it's not to say that everybody gets a free pass. When you get married, you make a union. And I'm not getting religious here. I'm just getting relationship advice for if you want to take, I might not be good at a lot of things. I probably should not be giving relationship advice, but I've been successfully married now for 2007. 17 years? Holy jeez. Been married for 17 years. I've been with my wife since we were boyfriend, girlfriend since 1999. We had a brief hiatus in 1999. But when you get married, it is a union. And it's a union of you against the world. Not against, but rather you facing the world. And you don't fight with your spouse in front of friends. You don't fight with your spouse in front of other people. You don't fight with your spouse in public. Because you don't. If you disagree with your spouse, you sort of bite your tongue and you wait until you get home and then you have the disagreement there and you work it out there. When you fight with your spouse in front of friends, you create de facto alliances between one spouse and another friend, depending on who's fighting with whom. You also create alliances between friends who might have been enemies and say, oh, look, they're fighting now. Now we get to be closer friends. And the same thing is basically true of politics. I'm not saying that anybody's married to Joe Rogan, and I'm not saying that I'm married to anybody who I happen to disagree with. But when you fight with people who you may not agree with on everything, but you're on the same side, so to speak. When you two fight, the people on the other side say, look at that now. Team Trump is in big trouble. They're actually fighting with Rogan. And they're not wrong to some extent because it's stupid and it does sow discord and it creates fissures between people who should be ideologically aligned. And it empowers those who want to sow discord among those who are ideologically aligned or should be, or at least in the war of a two-party system. So this is what happens. Joe Rogan, and I put it in quotes because people are saying he endorsed them. Anybody who watched the clip, Joe Rogan did not endorse RFK Jr., and I'll get to the tweet where Rogan clarifies this later. Colin Rugg, happening now. I love how I like Colin Rugg, and I should probably take some advice on how he drafts his tweets. Happening now, all caps. Right-wing X is shredding Joe Rogan. I disagree with the framing, but it's engaging. for, quote, endorsing RFK Jr. during his podcast. The claim, Joe Rogan endorsed RFK for president. What Rogan said, we don't need to hear it. We don't need to read it. Let's hear it. It's a 2-minute clip. I'll play the first 30 seconds and stop because the next minute and a half, not entirely related to it, but you want to make sure that it's not out of context. Listen to what Rogan
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a
Now, I have such trouble waiting.
fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. You know, before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this like conspiracy.
Yeah, then it goes on for a bit here. He's saying he's a respectable guy. I don't agree with Rogan in what he's saying. Well, they do it on both sides, create narratives, yada, yada. I mean, first of all, you can't deny it. They do it on both sides. The only question is the propensity of either side. Do they do it equally as much, with the same degree of vigor, with the same degree of control over social media and media? And the answer to that is no. They do it on both sides. Remember the fake narrative that Joe Biden shat his pants? Yeah, they do it on both sides. And it's not necessary to like go hard and lambaste the right when they promote a false narrative, but it does help to say, it's not true. He didn't shit his pants. He was looking for a seat. And don't promote a false story just because you took a 12-second clip out of context. They do it on both sides. They just happen to do it a whole hell of a lot more on the side that controls pretty much every lever of social media and media, with the exception of Twitter and Rumble. So yeah, they do it on both sides. There's murderers on both sides, but there happen to be people doing it a whole hell of a lot more, as far as I'm concerned, on the capital L left, because they control the media and the social media, with the exception of Twitter and Rumble. But listen again.
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I don't agree that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the only one not doing that. I like to think I'm not doing that. I'm joking. Nobody knows who I am. I don't agree that RFK is not the only one doing it. RFK is out there not promoting narratives, but pushing his perspective. I mean, that's basically what a narrative is. What else?
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack.
He's the only one that makes sense to me. And agreed, ambiguous. He's the only one that makes sense to me as president, or he's the only one that makes sense to me when he talks. I mean, look, I can understand some people saying, I don't understand what the hell Trump's saying. He started off talking about vaccines and now he's to the war in Afghanistan. And maybe literally he just meant like literally he makes sense when he talks, and nobody can accuse RFK Jr. of not being eloquent and thoughtful when he speaks. It is an asset you could learn from, not be intimidated by or have to shun because of politics.
People. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was environmental.
All right, we can stop there. That's the ringing endorsement that Joe Rogan allegedly proposed for RFK Jr. Is that an endorsement? I don't think so. Is that praising him for his qualities and attributes? Yeah. Is RFK a man who has good qualities and attributes that could be incorporated into a Trump campaign? Is RFK an asset that could be aligned with or incorporated into a Trump campaign? If the answer is not yet, the answer should be sooner than later. And so he's completely wrong. But this is here. Let me bring this up because I happen to think Joe Rogan is wrong in the characterization of this, but wrong in the sense that discussion is how you resolve that, not browbeating, demonizing, and social media mob abuse like some people chose to do with Kyle Rittenhouse last week. Firstly, because it won't work, because Joe Rogan is not a Kyle Rittenhouse, and this is no shade on Kyle, but Kyle is a young kid, doesn't have much, he's got a meaningful social media following, but is not the king of podcasts. Doesn't have how many views, how many downloads does Rogan get for an episode? Like, I mean, I don't want to say 100 million. See if I can find this out in real time here. Google average download Rogan podcast. It's got to be in the 50 million. Joe Rogan Experience has been downloaded more than 200 million times per month. The podcast has over 1.9 billion lifetime downloads. Joe Rogan's podcast episodes have been downloaded over 100 million times per month. That's according to Wi-Fi Talent. So I don't know how. Joe Rogan is not a Kyle Rittenhouse. He's not someone who's going to be browbeaten into submitting. And I don't want to say that that's what happened to Kyle Rittenhouse. I think Kyle realized that he made a mistake in the manner in which he expressed his political views, sincere as they might have been. But you're not going to get Joe Rogan to bend over backwards and say, I'm back on Team Trump. No. First of all, it wasn't an endorsement of RFK Jr. for president. And Rogan, for anybody who's watched him, has been very, very kind and praising towards Trump and what Trump just went through. So and Rogan has hundreds of millions of downloaders who might not be swayed by browbeating and social media mob jumping down Rogan's throat for expressing his sincerely held beliefs, as wrong as you might think that they are. So yeah, he might be completely wrong, but Rogan also has not, I don't want to say he's been an ally. That's a very, very tribalist word. Rogan has not been an ally. He's been a victim of the same left-wing cancel culture, the same left-wing censorship as many on the right. And how do you respond to Rogan taking a view that you disagree with at a pivotal time when you're trying to coalesce and not fracture? You don't jump down his throat and say Rogan has always been an idiot, a celeb, a moron, a faux celeb. You don't do that. These are not the types of fights that are value added to pick. And so while some were jumping down his throat, I was saying, first of all, he's allowed to have his views. If you disagree with him and you want to bring him aboard, you don't do that by fighting with him. If you want to convince his followers who might be listening to his words, that's not how you do it. You don't fight with the people you're trying to convince or bring aboard. You fight with the people who are too far gone and use them as a tool to convince those who are able to be convinced. So that's what the video was. Let me see what Rogan's Joe Rogan, Seth Rogan. Now here we go. So we got Joe Rogan actually responded. And maybe some people are going to think this is like some sort of Pyrrhic victory. Like, we got Joe Rogan to clarify. He's back on board. He understands where things are at. Rogan tweeted out later on, this wasn't an endorsement of RFK for president. Here we go. For the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person. He makes sense to me. Can't disagree with that. I mean, it's fine. You know, I have no problem with Trump calling nasty people nasty people. But I can understand that some people will say, RFK just makes a little more sense when he talks. He's a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more nuanced. I happen to think Trump is perfectly nuanced. I appreciate I might have a blind spot or thicker skin where I don't get offended to the point of crying when Trump calls someone a nasty woman. And I don't genderize it. I don't racialize it. Trump calls nasty people. He calls assholes. For the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person, and I really appreciate the way he discusses things with civility and intelligence. Some people are going to say that's comparative. He's now saying Trump doesn't discuss with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of this in this world. I also think Trump raising his fist and saying fight after getting shot is one of the most American fucking things of all time. I'm not the guy to get political information from. If you want that from a comic, go to Comic Dave Smith. He actually knows what he's talking about. That's Rogan, by the way, and appreciate this. Showing humility, showing self-deprecating ability, that you have the ability to insult himself, and showing that he doesn't, he's telling people don't rely on me for politics, but people do rely on Rogan for politics, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what makes Rogan is not that he's a diehard, dogmatic, stubborn person who is fixed, firmly fixed in his beliefs. He's got an open mind. He can admit when he's wrong. And he sure as hell has been not an ally, but a player on the same team in the last 4 years of tyranny. And to go and shit on Joe Rogan, in as much as people shat on Kyle Rittenhouse for expressing his sincerely held beliefs, when you are 90 days out from possibly the most consequential election of all time, and to alienate the tens of millions of people who rely on Joe Rogan for the forum that Joe Rogan provides, you gotta be stupid. And I won't be mean. You've got to be very much blinded by your own blinders, living in your own silo. And some people might even say, look, the only reason to do that is to sabotage Trump. The only reason to fight with Joe Rogan right now and not to try to reestablish the alliance is because you're a mole and you're trying to sow discord and actually sink Trump. There's no other reasonable justification to say, yeah, we're going to teach Joe Rogan a lesson. Joe will lose all his viewers? No, he won't. Absolutely not. Rogan will not lose all his viewers. And if that's what you think is going to happen, that Trump is going to show Rogan, we're going to make him lose his viewers for not being on Team Trump. That's stupid. First of all, much of the time, you're not watching Rogan for Rogan's opinion. You're watching Rogan for his ability to extract information and have an open dialogue with other people so you can learn from their opinion. So no, Rogan's not going to lose his viewers over this. And B, if that's the if the goal here is to say, we are going to do the same type of social media blackmail and extortion, you don't dare say anything else good about RFK Jr. And if you criticize Trump, we'll destroy you. If that's what you're going to do, you are doing more harm to Trump and Team MAGA than Rogan is by praising what is a praiseworthy quality of RFK Jr. I think that RFK Jr. knows that he has no reasonable chance. I think Team Trump could very much learn a lot and incorporate RFK Jr. style, tactics, policy, and maybe even persona into Team Trump and not have a division, but have a unification. But this is stupid and counterproductive beyond all words. Regarding the 9/11 conversation from the unusual suspects, Condoleezza Rice's friend she warned not to fly happened to be Mayor Willie Brown. Nothing to see here. If you do see, then you're crazy. I'm going to save that up there. So there was apparently Condoleezza Rice told Willie Brown not to fly to New York on the day before 9/11. So the only question is whether or not I'm just wrong on Rogan. And I like Rogan and I like Trump. And I think the next election, it has to be Trump. And this will blow over, and it might actually result in a stronger unification between Rogan and Trump. But it's dumb. Let me just see. I need to make sure, because you never know what you're seeing anymore. Trump apparently replied to Rogan. Let me see. Trump Truth, where he said Rogan's going to get booed. And the last time, I don't want to fall for these stupid things. I need to make sure that it's not a fake. It says here, let me see here. This is what I see. There was a fake Truth Social, which I did not share, thank goodness, about Trump's response to Kyle Rittenhouse. Here. It will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring, MAGA 2024. That's fair enough. The other thing is the written word always gets misinterpreted on Twitter. I would say it'll be interesting. It's a question. Will he get booed? Hey, and maybe if Rogan doesn't get booed, maybe Team Trump wants to learn a few things and absorb a few of the alluring styles and alluring tactics from an RFK Jr. It doesn't hurt to sit down for long format podcasts, open discussion, thoughtful discussion, and yeah. Let me see here. This is good. Harry Toe says, I would still watch Rogan if he endorsed RFK Jr., and I'm voting for Trump. The bottom line, and I won't belabor it after this, if you're trying to convince Rogan, you don't do that by adopting I'm going to punch down on you like you're Kyle Rittenhouse, because it won't work. It doesn't look good. It actually looks a lot like the leftist tactics. Rogan's belief was not an unreasonable one. His opinion was not an offensive one. He wasn't saying all of a sudden, yep, I support sterilization of 12-year-old boys who think they're girls. Let's cut their dicks off. He wasn't saying that. You say something like that, fine. There's a line. Immediate ideological cancellation. They become enemies, not allies with different views. This is an ally with a nuanced view, and you're not going to win him back by trying to abuse him the way people thought they could abuse Kyle Rittenhouse and might have learned the wrong lesson, because Kyle Rittenhouse, within 12 hours, changed his tone a lot. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, what do we got here? If RFK Jr. doesn't want to take Trump voters away, then why is he continuing his campaign? Also, if Rogan pushes moderate voters to RFK, isn't he hurting Trump? That's the ultimate question, and I don't know that we'll ever know. Whoever is watching Rogan, and Rogan praises RFK, whoever's watching Rogan, I don't think is a lefty. I don't think there's many Kamala Harris supporting Democrats that watch Joe Rogan for any other reason than to find a clip that they can use out of context to make him look bad. We haven't gotten to November yet. There is no telling where on the ticket RFK is going to be by November. There's no telling what happens in the next 90 days of alliances. And the idea to say, well, shit, he said this now, so let's go demonize RFK Jr., that is the dumbest thing possible to do. What you should probably be focusing on doing is trying to get the Trump campaign to absorb, to adopt, and to promote some of RFK's vaccine, I won't say vaccine at large, but COVID jab issues into the campaign. You want to help Trump? And this might be where praising RFK Jr. might be the thing to do. Get him to walk back a little bit his praise of Operation Warp Speed and that toxic jibby jab that he promoted and that he still thinks is a success because he still somehow thinks he's going to get the votes of the Kamala Harris supporting sycophants. You're not. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. For real now, for real. Let me go back to vivabarneslaw.locals.com and see what's going on here. Angel to Walz says, my husband always said it's you and I against the world, kept our marriage going for 30 plus years. It's something you can't really understand until you've actually had maybe your first fight with your wife in front of people, or at the very least until you've seen other couples fighting among each other, among other people. That's when you know things are going badly. Nobody gets along with themselves 24/7. Nobody gets along with other people 24/7. But a marriage is a union. And the union is that, not that you're always going to agree, but that you're not going to act against each other's interests vis-a-vis others, because then spouses form alliances with other people who are not their spouses, and that's how you lead to affairs, adultery, and broken marriages. So that's it. That's my Viva marriage advice. Oh, I don't even know if you see this. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah. I did a few push-ups earlier this week and feeling better. Okay, that's it. Done with Rogan. I mean, I like Rogan. I like RFK. And I wholly support Trump, not ideologically, but you know why I support Trump. And if fucking Trump loses this election, I just read a Lex Fridman tweet. Let me see if I can find this Lex Fridman tweet. I have no problem with Lex Fridman. Lex. I don't think he's right all the time. Here we go. Here. This is Lex. This is Lex's 2 cents. I think that neither Trump nor Harris will destroy America if elected president. Call me crazy, but I think that Trump is not a fascist. I agree. And Harris is not a communist. I disagree. I think this is a reasonable, rational position. It is, but I think it's ill-founded and factually incorrect. But according to the internet, it's insane. No, it's just ignorant. Because Kamala Harris is almost by definition a communist. Equal outcome is communism. Equal opportunity is Americanism. Ask Grok. Is Kamala Harris a communist? I don't know what happens here. I don't know if I actually just opened my... Based on... Based on the provided information, there are opinions and statements suggesting that Kamala Harris is a communist. Some tweets and comments from the sources provided label her as such, with specific references to her policies and statements being interpreted and aligned with communist ideologies. Okay, so scrap that. Let me see something. Is Viva Fry cool? No. Smart. No. Smart. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, gosh sake. You know what? Forget you. All right, bottom line. I think it's reasonable. I think you're wrong. Either way, getting attacked on both sides has been mentally exhausting for me. Perhaps that's the design of the current political climate. It's always been the design of the climate. Anyone with moderate, it's not moderate open-mindedness. It might just be superficial two-sidedness needs to be pushed out in favor of the battle between dogmatic extremes. This doesn't seem like the right path toward truth. No, promoting equal outcome is communism. Supporting disarming a population through mandatory buybacks is communism or statism. Call it whatever the hell you want. Supporting internet censorship of dissenting voices is statism. Kamala Harris is a statist. What Trump is to be determined, but it's not to say you might be Lex. With all due respect, and there's no shade here. If you're taking flack from both sides, it might be because you're just wrong. You know, there's the expression when you walk in the middle, you get hit on traffic from both sides. You shouldn't be walking in the middle of a freaking highway. Pick a side and go with it. I don't mean that's a bad analogy. But the bottom line, everybody's attacking me. Yeah, that's what happens when you are universally wrong. So they say, like, you know, in negotiations, the right decision makes both parties equally unhappy. True. But sometimes you can espouse a view that is so dumb that it's wrong objectively on both sides. Nobody's going to say you're right. Let me see what this has to say here. Let me see what does that say? Let me see what Cornon Macabre has to say. Have you bought any guns yet? If you don't buy guns within the next 6 months, it's campaigning for your deportation. There's things that I don't talk about and I won't talk about. But yeah. So that's it. Okay. Oh, speaking of disarming a population and then having your way with them like a helpless victim in the woods. You guys see what's going on in England? Holy hell! So I'm in touch with Tommy Robinson. He's gonna come on. We are not on the outs with one another. Holy crap! There's some flooding going on up in Quebec. Sweet merciful goodness. So I'm in touch with Tommy Robinson. England is done. It's done. I mean, I say that no, that's hyperbolic, and that is non-productive or counterproductive rhetoric. England is going through the throes of an involuntary transformation, and we are witnessing what happens when a population is disarmed, and it is determined that the population has privileges and not God-given rights. I also now fully understand who the fucking redcoats are in life. I never understood it. You know, they would say, oh, the redcoats. I was like, oh, the redcoats, white hats, what the hell? No, now I understand. I watched The Patriot driving back down from Montreal to Florida, to the free freaking state of Florida. I watched The Patriot with my 8-year-old kid. It's a little violent, but nothing too psychologically devastating. I get the redcoats now. The freaking redcoats are oppressing, suppressing, depressing, compressing, whatever the pressings, the population in England has now been allowed to have a full invasion, and call me whatever. Shouldn't swear, but I'm going to call me whatever fucking names you want. I genuinely don't care anymore. We have been placed in a position where you've got the Danielle Smiths of Alberta saying we need to double our population because natural population growth is too slow, and we need to do it. There is no, I don't know what it means to be an American. I mean, I know what it means to be an American citizen. It means being fortunate enough to have that piece of paper that says you're an American citizen. And I shouldn't say that I don't know what it means to be an American, because I think I do know what it means to be an American. It's a spirit. And there's this is not to be degrading or demeaning to Canada. Nobody talks about a Canadian spirit. You talk about a Canadian culture. You talk about Canadian politeness. You don't talk about a Canadian spirit as in a dude who wrestles an alligator or who flies a freaking American flag through a hurricane. The American spirit, it transcends citizenship. It's what makes an American, a real American, a real American. You can have that citizenship. You can have your passport and your green card or whatever. You are not an American until you have that American spirit. And I like to think that I have the American spirit. I did, after all, dive down into water and capture a horseshoe crab with my bare hands. No, but I understand what it means now. And the American spirit is what defines the American culture. It's what defines the American history, the American experience. And they fought the frickin' redcoats, these tyrannical, pompous, arrogant, subjects of the king, who said, you are servants and we are your masters. And the American patriots, the American militia said, war. We are free. We have God-given rights and freedoms. And they said war. And but for the fact that they were a well-armed militia, they would never have won that war against the most sophisticated army on earth. And now you look at what's going on in that, I'm going to call it a shithole, because Europe has been a shithole since I lived there in 1999. Many of you may or may not know, I did an exchange, a one-year exchange from McGill to France in philosophy. And I studied at La Sorbonne, Paris 4. La Sorbonne, I studied at La Sorbonne, 99 to 2000. That's when me and my wife took our first and only hiatus for 3 months. Then I missed her. She came to visit me in France, and we have been together ever since. Europe has been not a melting pot, but a powder keg since I was there in 1999. And England has become an objective shithole. You cannot desecrate the history and the culture and then expect the people who were that history and that culture to sit there and say, well, all right, well, we had a good thing while it lasted. Let's just roll over and bend over. And you tell us who needs to do what to us now. And so there's been a slew of events going on in England over the last little while. They don't have gun violence. They have stabby, McStab violence. They don't have gun violence. They've got, what is it still the acid capital of the world? Let me just see it here. Google, acid attack capital of the world. Let me see, acid attack capital, London. I mean, it's just amazing. This might be old news. Let's just see if I haven't done this in a while. I put in the words acid attack capital of the world. London, AI overview, has been called the acid attack hotspot of the Western world. And the United Kingdom has the highest number of recorded acid attacks in the world. In 2022, the UK saw a 69% increase in acid attacks. What the fuck? I'm sorry. What the fuck is going on? No. Don't ask questions about policy. Don't ask questions about the unpopular questions about immigration policy that might lead to London becoming the acid attack capital of the world. 710 cases. It estimated 82 acid attacks compared to 97 in 2022. Here we go. Acid attacks in London. So let me just go here. I love the fact that AI now is just integrated into everything. What do I want to go? Let's go knife attack capital of the world. Stabbing deaths by countries. The global rise of knife crime. Rise in UK knife attacks leads to a crackdown. This is 2024. And stokes public anxiety. So England arguably has fallen. And it has fallen from within because you get that. I don't even know who that guy is. He looks like Satan incarnate, Keir, or whatever the hell his name is. They had some uprisings and some riots and some protests, which, I don't know what to believe in the news. I know the news reports that these riots, these protests were far right, EDL, English Defense League, white men militias, bullshit, period. Just bullshit. Tommy Robinson is not a white nationalist anything. Anybody who says that is an idiot. I'll fight with them while I try to convince them, and when I realize that they cannot be convinced, I will fight with them to use them as the catalyst to try to convince others. Tommy Robinson is not a racist. Tommy Robinson is not he's not an anti-Semite. He's accused of being Mossad. And the EDL, for whatever it is a very culturally diverse, but maybe ideologically aligned entity. You don't have to be white to be an American. You have to have the American spirit, and that can materialize in whatever race, creed, religion, gender orientation. The bottom line, it's tough not to look at the UK and think that it has fallen. There was a stabbing murder of 3 young girls doing Swiftie dances. I don't know what, and the person was, there were rumors, let me just make sure I get this right. There were rumors that the person was Muslim, as if that would, as if that's the relevant factor. UK 3 girls Swifty stabbed. Apparently the person wasn't Muslim, just was a foreign national, or it might have been first generation. Let me see if did I just share this here? No, I didn't. Here, 3 girls stabbed to death. Oh, they search for motive. They're still searching for a motive of the guy who tried to kill Trump. It's just a miracle. It's 3 girls killed in stabbing. I love it. 3 girls killed, not 3 girls murdered. They were just killed in a stabbing. Something stabby at a Taylor Swift themed UK dance. By the way, don't draw any connections to the terrorist plot that was just foiled in Vienna for Taylor Swift concerts. I'm sure it's just all don't connect these dots. Taylor Swift's just in shock. Okay, let's hear. Police are investigating the deadly attack on a children's music event in a seaside town in Southport. They said they would interview the 17-year-old suspect as they search for a motive. The investigation is in its early stages. Motivations remain unclear. They responded, yada, yada. 3 children were killed. Alice Da Silva, keep smiling and dancing. Oh, it's just terrible. Is there anything on the attacker? The loss of life. A 17-year-old boy from Banks, a coastal village in Lancaster. From what I understand, the kid, it might have been a Christian, but from Somalia or something, just outside Southport. He was arrested on suspicion of murder. The suspect, his name was not released. The full circumstances we're not fucking idiots, people. We understand what's going on, and we understand what we see before with our own very eyes. All right. So whether or not the person, apparently the person was not Muslim, so this is not a it's funny, eh? Not Muslim, so it can't be a terrorist attack. It's amazing who's got the prejudice and the bigotry here. The person, from what I understand, if was from England, was first generation at best. People are pissed. People are pissed at what they see as an invasion, an infiltration of their country, a replacement. Tommy Robinson has been talking about it in Loudoun for years, and people took to the streets. And they went on and apparently they went after migrant centers, which is a very weird thing to do if it was a Brighton. If it's a Brit who did this, it's a very weird thing to go after migrant centers. This happened up in Hull, the Hull region on Saturday. People taken to the streets, and that guy comes out and says, hey, everybody's going to get arrested. What we saw here was not protest. It's criminality, and we'll come after you, your mother, your mother's mother. Let me see here. Do I have something here? Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. They'll come after you for what you post on the internet, boy. I tell you what. I feel like Austin Powers out of Austin Powers. Look at this. This is real. This is real. I thought this was fake. Is there audio for this? Why is there no audio? I can't hear a damn thing. You can get prosecuted for sharing stuff online. Think before you post. Let me just see something here. Why am I not hearing that? I know that there was audio. This is from the Crown Prosecution Service of the UK. Think before you post. Content that incites violence or hatred isn't just harmful. It can be illegal. Is there no audio? The fudge? Okay, well, I guess there's no audio. The CPS is the not Child Protective Services. That's what it is in Canada. In the UK, it's the Crown Prosecution Service. 3-letter agencies. They take online violence seriously. Online violence. Prosecute anyone when they test when the legal test is met. Remind those close to you to share responsibly or fuck you redcoats is what I would say to that. And apparently some Brits have said fuck you redcoats as well, and they took to the streets Saturday. Let me just bring up the article. Is this the one? This is the this is the one because I saw the story and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. One of the rioters was sentenced to 2.5 years in jail. Remember what they did to Tommy Robinson? 12 months after a 1-hour hearing for contempt of court for filming East Asian Muslim rape gangs as they approached court. Sentenced to 12 or 13 months within an hour. I was like, it's impossible. This is not North Korea. This is not Russia. It's impossible. I read this article that said someone was sentenced to 2.5 years for the riots. Like, oh, which riots? Like 3 years ago? Like they finally went to trial? BBC News. 6 hours ago. Let me just refresh and just make sure. 6 hours ago. First 3 Hull rioters jailed for ugly disorder. The first 3 people convicted for their part in the violence and disorder in Hull have been jailed. Oh, it must have happened a long time ago, right? Hull Crown Court heard police officers were attacked when missiles were thrown at them. Shops were looted, and a hotel housing asylum seekers was targeted during the violence. Yada, yada, yada. On Saturday, what freaking day is it? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 5 clear days. Not for an arraignment, not for a hearing on bail, not for, I don't know what else, not 5 days to find a lawyer. 5 days since the incident, and Andrew Stewart, 37. Brandon Kirkwood, 20. They've been jailed for 2.5 years. I mean, Christopher Douglas, he was jailed for 2 years and 8 months. I don't want to swear more than I have to, but I'm going to. What the bloody hell? I read a tweet because I'm not closing this down yet because you need to understand this. I saw a tweet, which was interestingly enough then subsequently deleted, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? They can't be jailed for 2.5 years. I mean, it just happened. How do you arrest someone, detain someone, put together a trial, have the trial, and then convict them to 2.5 years in jail in 5 freaking days? It's impossible." And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they were on a suspended sentence from something else like the Tommy Robinson, because that was the excuse back then. They just tried, convicted, and sentenced to 2.5 years in 5 fucking days. I mean, it's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. It's North Korea level. England has fallen. And hold on, because we're living in the Orwellian memory holding thing. So this tweet came up because I remember it because I saw it. I remember it because I replied to it, and by the time I tried to reply, it said, error has occurred, go to your drafts. And whenever that happens, it means they deleted the effing tweet before I could even reply to it. Humberside Police. This is a real account. It's not parody. Behind bars, Brandon Kirkwood, 20-year-old of Downing Grove, Hull, has been jailed for 2.5 years for his part in the disorder that took place in the city center on Saturday, August 3rd. I swear to you, I thought I was in another realm. Like, August 3rd, 2021. August 3rd, 2020. No. Last Saturday, they arrested this guy, jailed him, charged him, tried him, and convicted him in 5 fucking days, and then locked him up for 2.5 years. You want to tell me if that makes sense? And then 2 other guys, 2 years and 8 months. It doesn't make sense. It cannot make sense. England has become North Korea. Fuck the redcoats is what it is. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'll tell you one thing. It's probably a bad influence. I feel empowered to not be polite when it comes to outright criminal tyrants. I mean, it's not a joke. It's a travesty. Well, get to the comments here. 2.5 years, 5 days? How do you put together evidence, call witnesses, get representation? You can't. You don't. And it's not a free country in England anymore. It's a goddamn tyranny. And anybody who says otherwise is either afraid of the consequences or is part of the problem. Let me see if I can bring this one up here. 5 days. 5 days. I don't want to refresh it because I don't want to lose this. I don't know if it's going to happen. Here, hold on a second. Let me bring this one up here. Yeah, let me see if I can do this. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up this chat right here. I'm going to share the screen and go here. I can do this. It says, Tommy Robinson has been shining light on the failures of the UK police and policies for years. The fact that the perps that were shielded were not white isn't racism by Tommy. It pointed out racism of UK authorities. Mac Grendel, you are 1000% right. But I mean, it's just like, Why? And then they delete the tweet. And I said, hey, shitheads, why'd you delete the tweet? I didn't say shitheads, although I did call them fucking redcoats in another one. Let me just see. Why'd you delete the tweet? Here. Let's just see when I get blocked. I'm not going to that shithole London, England, ever. It's a shame. I've never been there. Never will. Why'd you delete the tweet? Don't report crimes here. This is the actual Humberside. Why did you delete the tweet? Let's just go down. Oh, here. What do we got here? Thoughtless driver. Oh, yeah. Why'd they delete the tweet? It was a real tweet. I saw it. And I couldn't reply to it in time. Viva, you ignored my super chats. You see, that's an accusatory tone. Ignored means I saw them and deliberately chose not to read them. Missed them is probably more likely. Let me see if I can go back and find them. I assure you I did not ignore anybody's super chats. Free Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is now many more than just Stephen Yaxley Lennon. And I, just so you know, like I'm working with the limits of technology. I did not ignore any super chat because that implies that I saw it and deliberately chose not to bring it up. Whereas if I didn't bring it up, it's strictly because I did not see it. Let me scroll up and see how far back I can go. So do me a favor. Do not do another super chat. So Maureen Brown, hold on. Maureen Brown just said, Viva, unfortunately, you are way too late on the party on this issue. All right, maybe I'm late, but I'm fairly certain I've been covering Tommy Robinson since 2018, unless you mean this particular issue, in which case I'm not going to be on time or early for everything. But now hold on. Who said you missed my super chats? Damn it. Just put the comment in the bottom. Hold on. Let me see who said you missed my super chat. Why would anyone pay taxes in LA County? Hold on. Excuse me. Okay, here we go. Norwegian, do me a favor. Oh, you're still up there. Can you just not super chat it, but put the comment in right now, please? Like right now, whatever you said, I'm going to go right now and watch it and see this. We got STFU FFS says 5 days is too quick to even find the trial kangaroos. Norwegian, I'm looking for Norwegian in the chat in YouTube. Your positions in life have nothing to do with the value of your life. Norwegian, me. Well, Norwegian S'mores, can you just put the comment in right now? I'm looking in the chat on YouTube. Don't super chat it. I don't need the super chat again. I would don't, but also don't think. Okay. Alex Davy Duke says $10. The young man that unlived the little girls may have been a convert. I suspect. We don't know about that yet. Norwegian says, I talked about what the true argument of Section 230 is to enforce it properly. All right, well, that's interesting. I still don't know what the chat was. Norwegian, I see it, but I don't see the actual question. But anyways, Norwegian, put the chat in there. I see that I'm not ignoring anything, especially if it's relating to 230. I don't ignore anything because I find it too controversial. So it's a silly thing to think. Norwegian S'mores. The argument was never to remove 230, just to enforce it properly. Rule YouTube a publisher. Oh, that's yes, because Section 230 was never intended to shield the platforms from editorial curatorship under the pretext of trying to eliminate illegal activities. I agree with that. Now I seem to have triggered a lot of conversation. Let me see if I go to this and this here. Is Tommy Robinson on tonight? No, he is not. Julia V77. I'm trying to just find him. We got a bit of a time zone issue, and Tommy has been going through his own things, and it's tough. But it will happen sooner than later. Bottom line: anybody who thinks you can arrest, charge, trial, and convict someone in 5 days is probably a communist. And it seems that the redcoats are wearing the apt color of the coats because they have turned into filthy statist communists, and that's what's running England right now. What's the guy's name? Well, you know what? I'll actually think I have a video of him in the backdrop here. Keir? No, hold on one second. Let me find. I know that I had some choice words for him on Twitter, so I'll find this The guy looks like a villain out of a horror movie. Keen? Kyer? Where is it? I'll find it. It's in my Twitter timeline. My Twitter timeline serves no other purpose than a diary of the world in which we are living. Okay, let's see. I got Kamala Harris. I got Chris Pavlovsky. I got going up, scrolling up. What's the guy's name? Keir Starmer. That's his name. This guy's a freaking villain out of a horror movie. We will arrest the people. What we saw in Hull was nothing short of pure criminality. It was not protest. And if you have wrong think on the internet, we will find you and we will lock you up because I am a filthy commie. Here we go. Let's go with this one. Keir Starmer. This is like Keir Smarmy is what it sounds like. Here. It's an all-out attack on all fronts, and it's an attack against freedom. Whatever. I'm going to play this here. This is the guy. I think it's really important that we maintain high alert for the white people. Yeah.
I think it's really important that we maintain high alert. I've always been here at the control room of the Met, looking at what's essentially
I'm sorry. Straight out of Minority Report. That scene is out of Minority Report. Sweep here. Oh yeah, let's enhance thought crime. All right, Keir Starmer is thought crime expert extraordinaire.
Control room of the Met, looking at what's essentially the nerve center. But my message to the police and all of those that are charged with responding to disorder is maintain that high alert. I'm absolutely convinced that having the police officers in place these last few days in the right places, the swift justice that's being dispensed in our courts have had a real impact. But we have to stay on high alert going into this weekend because we absolutely have to make sure that our communities are safe.
That's interesting. Here, hold on one second.
Places, the swift justice that's being dispensed in our courts have had a real impact.
Yeah, no shit, Kieran. No shit. Like having someone get locked up for 2.5 years, 5 days after they were charged. Yeah, that'll have a swift impact. It'll have a swift, unjust deterrent effect. Stay in your homes and deal with the stabby. And what happened to that kid? Oh, he's 17 years old, right? He's an accused, right? He's not convicted yet, so they can't release his picture. It's an amazing thing, eh? Why hasn't that guy who stabbed the kids been convicted so we can see his face, get his name, know where he's from, everything? Why not? No, it's not Hull, Quebec sees the day. It's Hull, England. Anyhow, that's what's going on in England. Let's come back to Canada. Not Canada. Let's come back to America. Kamala Harris is the worst. She's just the worst, which is why I think this stupid fighting between Trump and Rogan, the Trump camp or the Trump diehards, and Rogan, it's stupid. And you're dealing with someone who is arguably, but not arguably, the phoniest, most disgusting, commie. Listen to this. Hold on. This was the most badass 1 minute and 50 seconds I have ever seen in my life. Brian Bays. I don't know what is satire and what is not. So let's set aside. I don't know if this guy's posting this. I don't know if this is parody. It freaking looks like parody. It really looks like parody. Okay, fine, but whatever. So he's a Lego figurine, and let's just assume he's sincere. But let's assume it might be parody. The video is real. Let's just watch the bad. Let's watch the video. Forget whether or not it's badass in the ironic parody sense or in the sincere sycophant sense. Look at this. Look at this, and boss lady. The bitch is back. Look at the way this effing gosh forsaken phony, feigning confidence, feigning strength. Look at the way she walks. It's so repulsive. Look at the way she walks up with her aviator sunglasses, pulls them off, and says, "What you got?" And try not to vomit in your mouth. Go.
Madam Vice President.
What you got?
President Trump had a press conference today. He talked about a lot of things. Wonder if you have a reaction to what he talked about.
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it, and hope he shows up.
Are you open to more debates?
I am happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th, for sure.
You proposed two more debates.
Like I said, happy to have that conversation.
Why do you think he pulled out of his debate with you? Why do you think he
I am
pulled out?
beyond trying to speculate about how he thinks. What else?
Can you comment on some of his
very
other
low.
criticisms? He made a whole litany of them today.
I
Some of them are
I
about
was
your.
too busy talking to voters. I didn't hear him.
Some of the criticism has been about your
I-
vice presidential pick and his leaving the National Guard at 24 years. Vance said that he deserted his own troops or his own colleagues. What's your take on that?
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country. And I think that we all should.
Madam Vice President, there's been a lot of questions about when you're going to sit down for your first interview since being the nominee. Do you have any update
I've
on that?
talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
Thank you.
What do you make about attacks on your husband's face?
Thank you so much.
So that's. I mean, the thing is this: there's no way anybody with half a brain could think that that is badass, and it's not a minute and 50 because the last 20 seconds she's walking up on a plane. It's this. We don't even need the audio for this. Look at her. Oh, look at that. Like she's Katie Ann Moss or Carrie Ann Moss out of The Matrix. Aviators. Look at this.
What you got?
What you got?
President Trump had a.
What you got? Oh. It's so repulsive. It's actually beyond words. And then she tries to explain away Tim Walz's stolen valor. Now, this is an issue that I've been not reluctant, but I'm not going to be first to it because I know that I'm not going to understand it the way people who know it understand it. The accusations that Tim Walz, her running mate, still can't get over the fact. Oh my gosh. Let me vent. I bought Tim Walz at 14 cents on Predicted against Ben Shapiro, against Josh Shapiro, who was at 70 cents. Tim Walz doubled. I doubled. Like, oh crap. I had second thoughts. I convinced myself that Shapiro was the Alex Soros pick. They were campaigning in Pennsylvania. So I take my double up on Tim Walz, roll it over into Josh Shapiro against my better judgment, and more importantly, against Roger Stone's insightful, astuteful prediction, and I lose everything. So I cannot hear the name Walz without thinking the prediction that I did not trust myself on and succumb to my own second. Forget that. Okay, fine. The news of the week is that Tim Walz, her running mate, is a perpetrator of stolen valor. And that there's many forms that takes, and that much I understood. You know, people can say I served when they never did. People who served can say I won an award that I never did. People who were in the National Guard can say I served in combat, which is stealing the valor of something that they didn't accomplish themselves. Okay, so the news of the week, and the more the media tries to downplay it, underplay it, ignore it, the bigger that you know that it is. In the same way they're trying to downplay, underplay, ignore the failed Trump assassination, a plot that was perpetrated, as far as I'm concerned, by a derelict Secret Service. In that question, if you couldn't hear it because the audio was very low, they said, what do you have to say about people attacking Tim Walz, accusing him of stolen valor? It's like, I have respect for anybody who served. Yeah, that's true. That's true. As do I. Even if I think that they are wrong in their current views. That doesn't respond to the accusation that Tim Walz is a perpetrator of stolen valor, which by all accounts he is. Now, again, I don't want to be first. I just want to make sure I understand it so I can explain it properly. And if I can't explain it simply, then I don't understand it properly. Tim Walz has been accused of three things: lying about having been in combat when he wasn't, having ducked out of serving by running for office and submitting his retirement papers before the deployment occurred. And there was a third one, which was the least consequential of the bunch. Mike Cernovich. If you don't know, I mean, I don't know who doesn't know Mike. Anybody watching here who doesn't know Mike, my goodness, I'm flattered, because Cernovich is the bigger brain, with the bigger brain life experience than I have ever had. Put out a video and explained it very well. I won't play the entire thing, but I will certainly share the link. Oh, am I going to do it?
Can you see and hear me? $1 is when you claim you served and you didn't serve, or when you falsely claim that you were in combat. And it also includes stealing medals and.
Okay, let's go.
The reason you don't know I was in the National Guard for 8 years is because I was a peacetime guy. I did my stuff. I got Army Achievement Medals. I did what I was supposed to do. It was a peacetime thing, dude. 8 years, not a big deal. I don't cover myself in valor. Oh, dare sacrifice to elevate yourself.
Okay.
So he could have called himself a former command sergeant major, which would have been technically been true, but he lied. He exaggerated his valor. But that's kind of small potatoes, right? Military fraud, for sure. Under stolen valor. He claimed he was in combat. That was posted by the Harris campaign.
There you go.
But
there you go.
Also could have been justified as he was a deployment dodger. So the reason that everybody is in the media is focusing on the deployment dodging thing is because that's the only wiggle room that they have. So Tim Walz is stolen valor. He claimed he was in combat. That was posted by the Harris campaign headquarters. That was an own goal. They're the ones who made this conversation. I wish I'd had that video. They're the ones who posted it. So we have him on stolen valor. That's without question. Without question. There's no way to run from that. He's a liar, and he lied about that repeatedly. He's a military fraud.
Stop. Just to make sure, the quote that and I'll find it. I've shared it. Everybody's shared it. He said, while perpetrating or perpetuating an anti-gun, anti-Second Amendment, because they're constitutionalists, while promoting an anti-Second Amendment agenda, he said nobody should carry around the weapons of war that I carried around in war. That's what he said. He never served in war. And that's not, and it's again, my goodness, 24 years of National Guard voluntary service. That's an accomplishment on its own. But to then lie about having served in war to promote an anti-gun agenda is stolen valor fraud. That's what Cernovich is saying right now.
For sure. Undeniable. But with the deployment dodging, you can play little games, right? So he was in what's known as the chain of command.
Listen to this.
The chain of command are the people who get all of the information first. They know when a deployment's going to happen, and they have a general idea months and sometimes years ahead when the deployment's going to happen. So Tim Walz was in the chain of command because remember, he was a command sergeant major. Command sergeant major. Yes, command sergeant major. Okay, he was command sergeant major. He wasn't a private first class. He can't pretend like he didn't know a deployment was going to come. So what he did was, this is real weasel shit, by the way. So what he did was he pretended that he was going to deploy with the unit. So he goes, make me a temporary command sergeant major, and then I'll finish the command sergeant major academy, and I'll do my deployment in combat, and then I'll retire as a command sergeant major. Right? That's what he said. That way he got the command sergeant major rank, which he could exaggerate for the rest of his life, exaggerate valor for the rest of his life. I was a former command sergeant major. Right? So he pretended that he was going to deploy, got the command sergeant major pen, knew a deployment was coming, and then put his retirement packet in. So the media goes, oh, thank God we have some cover on this. Well, he put his retirement packet in 2 months before he got the warning order that they were going to deploy. So, hey, man, he just, luck of the draw. He put his retirement papers in. Then they found out they were going to go. Dude, they knew 6 months before that they were going to go.
That's the end of it. That's the end of it, to make sure that you all understood this. They're like, oh, we didn't know we were going to get deployed. They knew 6 months before it was going to happen, puts in his papers, and then the official deployment happens after the papers are put in. And he gets to say, I didn't dodge being deployed with my unit. I already put in my papers because we knew that it was going to happen anytime. So stolen valor. And he's a scumbag. He's a scumbag. It just drives me crazy that guy sold his stock for Shapiro. There was a broader reason why I had that up. It was no, that was it. It was Kamala Harris. What you got? I'm in control, people. Oh, see, the thing is this now. I got a new phone, not a new phone. Like I had to replace my other one because I got it wet, and I don't have my Serenity prayer. Where's my Serenity prayer? Lord, give me the strength to change the things I can How the hell can I not remember the damn serenity prayer when I want to? Serenity prayer. God, give me the serenity to accept what cannot be changed, the courage to change what can be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. Serenity to accept what can't be changed, courage. So it's serenity, courage, and wisdom. Serenity, courage, wisdom. Tim Walz is a fraud. And the more the media rails against people who say that he's a stolen valor fraud, the more you know it's true. The more they railed against you for saying Joe Biden was senile, the more you now know it was true. It was true. They lie. All they do is lie. And now you go out with the new talking points about Tim Walz. Can you imagine Joe Scarborough, the man who had a questionable death in his office 20 years ago with an intern, who said that Joe Biden is, what was the word he used? Oh, what was the word he used? He's cogent. Joe Biden is cogent. These fuckers who have been lying to you for years, they get caught bald face, black on white lying, now go back to trying to inform you. They should go to hell faster than, I don't know. They should go to hell. How the hell do they have the balls to come out and try to tell you anything when they are caught with their freaking hands in the cookie jar, bald-faced liars? Oh no. It's now I got the chat's who's got the serenity prayer. Lord, give me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. SCW. That's all I need to know. That's all. SCW. Can you imagine that Joe Scarborough goes back to telling anyone they should be out of business and they should be sued for spreading disinformation? It's atrocious. Now, we're going to end with the WFA. We're going to talk about it on Friday. The WFA, I talked about it on The Unusual Suspects. That'll be the teaser. Go watch The Unusual Suspects. Let me get the link so that everybody can go and watch it on their own because oh, hold on one second. I want to do one thing first here. Yeah, look at this. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, check it out, people. Who do we do, positive or be naked? We're going to go with positive because we're using the Rumble Advertising Center, Rumble Studio. The positive is a brand that is working straight with Rumble to produce a wonderful product for Rumble viewers. And it's for pets. And I have an affinity to pets. I got a paralyzed little biatch. She's an actual bitch, so I can call her that. And I got this guy right here. Oi, get up. Come on, get up. Say hi to the world. Oh, I woke him up. Oh, I feel so bad. He's so angry with me right now. All right, get out of here. That's Winston. Do you rely on big woke corporations and the corrupt medical establishment to keep you healthy? I hope not. Then why would you trust them, the same globally owned corporations, to keep your pet healthy? You shouldn't. It's time to stop relying on them for anything. They hate us, they want us sick, and they want our money. And the same holds true of our pets. We at Rumble started Positive Health because pets are an extension of our family, and it matters that they get clean, nutrient-filled, vitamin-rich superfoods to stay healthy and happy. Now, just so you know, that dog's been born blind. The other one was not born paralyzed, but she's been getting healthier and healthier as the days go on. Positive, that's why we created a range of superfood supplement waffles that your pets will love, packed with natural, healthy ingredients that promote better digestive support, bone health, vision, and immune strength. They're also rich in anti-inflammatories, vitamins, and minerals essential for your furry family members. Head over to Positive. Now, anybody listening in podcast, Positive, PAWSITIVE.com right now to check out our superfoods and other health products. Use the code STUDIO to save 15% on your first subscription order. The link is there. The look at this. Check this out. I go like this because there's a what do they call it? A QR code. Boom. Adds Rumble. Look what happens here. Look what happens. You go straight to it on your phone. This dog is cute, but not my dog. So that is it. Positive, people. It's wonderful. It's a parallel economy. Rumble is not just filling the market for the free speech aspect, but for the parallel economy for products that we all need, want, and crave. Positive, PAWSITIVE.com. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, I was going to end with this. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Chris Pavlovsky, listen to this. I'm going to bring this over to Rumble afterwards. We're going to have our discussion. Now, I could keep you all day, and I know that you're mildly busy, Chris. So, up next. So you got this stuff going on. What else can you disclose, either for the first time, or what do you want to let the public know of what Rumble is up to?
Well, I just disclosed a bunch of emails today, so
who's that? There are more to come.
No, I'm gonna keep it to these two. Maybe one more, but like I kind of described that one already on this show. I'm gonna keep it to these, and I will say I'll make the prediction that there's definitely some dirty laundry, as Elon Musk put it today on X, and I think that because there is, I think that. Just a little prediction of mine and completely my opinion and nothing else, but I don't see GARM making its way to the end of the year. I think they know they're doing something illegal, and I think behind the scenes they're pretty freaked out about what's going on, and I'd be surprised if they're still there by the end of the year. But it's pretty disgusting what we've seen. These emails are disgusting. Like if you look at them, I look at them and I'm like,
that's all we need. All right.
Crap. Like these guys are asking us to change.
No,
they want us to leave half of America so that we could get their ad dollars. No, you're gonna change, and you're gonna change your policies, and you're gonna need that other half of America, because you're gonna lose a lot of business if you treat and discriminate against half of America.
I love it because Chris is so polite. He doesn't even go with the Elon Musk. Go fuck yourself. He doesn't even, he's a good man. He's a damn good man. Period. Full stop. And by the way, that was one hell of a prediction, because he made that prediction the day before. We're going to talk about this on Locals. He made that prediction the day before the WFA, the World Federation of Advertisers, commies, that's literally communism, disbanded the GARM initiative. If you don't know what I'm talking about, come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com to have that discussion. There was, hold on one second, live chat. Here we go. Viva live show. What do we got here? Viva, a rare live show for me. I can't speak my mind or my government might spank me. Fucking redcoats. So take my money instead. Thank you very much. And Davey, I don't mean to laugh at your misery. It's just terrible. Remember, the media gave a completely different narrative than the reality you reported daily. Absolutely. I just saw another one. It's in vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Roostang says, Viva, did you see Hunley and Grobert today? I didn't. In front of a room with about 20 adoring seniors, Grobert went scorched earth on RFK, saying he will likely have to withdraw from the presidential race because he will not be able to convince the courts he is a resident of Westchester County, New York. Grobert says RFK is a resident of California, as is his VP choice, Shanahan, which is not allowed for the election. Why isn't that chat coming up? I don't want to refresh anything because I don't want to lose this. So I didn't see that. Grobert is a smart man. If he says something, I would not write it off or discredit it. So it's 9 o'clock. Holy sweet merciful goodness, people. Thank you all for being here. What we're going to do now, we're going to go over to Locals for the little after party. And then I'm going to go eat dinner and see what we do tomorrow. I agree. I agree, and I believe you get the face you deserve by the time you're 50. I'm 40. Hold on one second. How old am I? I'm 45. I just turned 45. I don't want to look angry. I don't want to look haggard. I don't want to look disheveled. I don't mind. You don't forget that. I don't want to look angry. I want to be happy, and I want to have life in my eyes when I'm 50. Okay, so we're going to do this now. We're going to go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. Sunday night show is going to be a freaking banger. I'm going to talk about the WFA, GARM, WEF, rats jumping ship. Oh, no, hold on. Before we leave, actually, hold on. Unusual suspects. I want to give everyone the link for tonight's show. because it's a show some love to the peeps. Mr. Beast new. No, that's not the right one. I love Taylor. There we go. Oh, dude, they're doing good here. Okay. They have a new intro. It's amazing. And I was on today. Oh, it says, remember the media give a completely different narrative than the Viva, a rare live show. I got both of those. Okay. Link to Unusual Suspects. Boom. Check it out. Link. Boom. Check it out. Whatever. That's not link. Go. And now we're going to take this party over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. That's where, if you want to support, it's the easiest way. Share, snip, clip, share this with people who you think would like it, who wouldn't like it. Clip, tag me in social media. vivafry.com for merch. vivabarneslaw.locals.com if you want to support. You don't have to. You can become a member, just give an email and be part of the community, or $10 a month, $100 a year, and that's the discounted whatever. Or just get those coins, whatever. Just be part of the community. So now I'm going over to Locals, supporters only, and we're going to have AMA and a fun time. Thank you. See you Sunday. I might do a short vlog tomorrow. Definitely one on Sunday as the intro to the show. And that's it. Go. Enjoy the weekend. Happy Friday. Peace out, peeps.